Really good South Carolina team coming in here. I mean, just so much respect for Coach Paris and their program. I know what they're doing there in year two, and I've watched them quite a bit and very familiar with them. Not only their players from time at South Carolina last year, my time at Tennessee, some of the similar players, but also guys in the league that were at Vanderbilt, like Miles Studi. So this is a complete ball club that's gotten off to a great start, and we know what kind of challenge it's going to be in here tomorrow.
They're shooting 40% from three. Just have you seen them kind of be pretty dynamic offensively early on?
Yeah, they are. They're an elite offensive team. Two things. They really take care of the basketball. They have versatile players 1 through 5 that could shoot. They have a point guard that's 6'5", 6'6", and they have B.J. Mack at the center spot that can really play the 4 or the 5. They can play down low. He can drive the basketball, take advantage of mismatches, and he shoots the ball as well as anyone on the team. So very, very talented, versatile offensive team that poses a lot of challenges for us.
When you look at Cooper, I think he's got a 5-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. How do you look to, I mean, obviously you're not going to stop him, but you got to limit him somehow on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, like, you look at the Maryland Eastern Shore game, and our best offense was scoring off our defense, turnovers, and then also we were able to throw the ball in the post. We cannot rely on thinking that our defense is going to create as much offense this game because of how well he takes care of the ball, their pace of play, their ability to play 5 out. They got 5 guys that can handle the ball a lot of the time on the court and shoot the ball. So we're just going to have to be really solid on defense, take advantage. You can't gamble versus them. You can't get caught up in trying to take the ball from them because, like you said, he's nearly at a 6-to-1 turnover ratio, and the ball's in his hands, and he'll take you down on the post. He runs their offense, and so, yeah, that's going to be a real, a key for us tomorrow.
Only one player averaging over 30 minutes so far. With such a deep team like they have, how do you kind of combat that with your own bench?
Well, we know that that's an area that we have not been as strong as we want to be with our bench, but it's coming every game. And again, we talk about early in the year, sometimes the bench gets experience because they have to play. And early in the year with injuries and whatnot, we've had younger guys play, guys step in that maybe weren't ready at the moment. And at some point, and you hope it's tomorrow, that it goes to the next step. But our bench is young, but they're getting the minutes slowly but surely, and at some point they got to come along, and they will, and they're doing it every day in practice. And you never know what the game is going to be when a player gets his opportunity and it's his game.
You guys have been kind of banged up early on. Did this little stretch allow some guys maybe rest up a little bit as far as bruises and bumps, that sort of thing?
Yeah, you want to hope so, but again, man, we're not going to take any time off of practice for that. You know, if a guy's sick, then it's the next guy up in practice. If a guy's banged up, then he can't practice, and it's the next guy up. I mean, you know, you ask Coach Paris the same thing. We all wish we had 25 players. We all wish you had 3, 4 guys at each position, but it's not the case. There's 1 or 2 guys that play the position, so if one guy's out, the next guy goes. But we need competitive practices, and that's honestly what has helped us get our defense on track the last 10 days is because the practices have been very intense, including on game day. And so we're just going to keep rolling with it, and the guys will get healthy.
You hope to have Jaden, back tomorrow?
Jaden will be back tomorrow, yes.
Last week you told me in a big win versus Wilmington that the 6th man, the fans were a big part of that game, and South Carolina's on a road trip, so what is going to happen tomorrow? Well,
I know 2 things. One thing, I know South Carolina's an experienced ball club that's played in hostile environments, including at Minges Coliseum at Clemson the other night. So they know what it is to be in high-level environments. But we have a chance to have a high-level environment in here. And as we talked about in that Wilmington game, our guys fed off the energy of the crowd, and I thought the crowd fed off the energy of our guys. So it's a great chemistry, and we talked about, we want this place to be electric tomorrow. It'd be great to have a sold-out place. It'd be great to have the rally towels going right from the tip. It'd be great to have the students jumping all the time. You watch all these games across the country and the student section, and that's what it's about. The student section gets the whole building going. And I think we're going to have a great crowd in here, but our students need to be as loud and rowdy and as electric as they have been.
Callum's seen increased minutes throughout the last few games. How do you think he's adapted to this physicalness and the speed of play of collegiate basketball?
I think the physicalness, great. It's a huge piece for us. We need him to be physical. That's what he brings to this team. The speed is probably that part, like you said. That's where the experience part. Young guy, freshman, growing. But every game, every practice, he's getting better, and he'll have to do the same thing tomorrow. But physicality is what Callum Richard brings to this team.
You guys have been playing, Bobby and Caleb a little bit more together. obviously smaller but more effective handling the ball. How do you kind of balance the rebounding there versus maybe they bring some more things to the table?
No, it's a great point, and we feel really comfortable playing those two guys together. Anytime you can have 2 point guards together, I've been a part of teams that have had that, and even two smaller guards. And Bobby's got good size. Obviously, Caleb's a smaller guard, but guards have to rebound. On offense, you have an offensive scheme, offensive rebounding. On defense, it's 5 guys rebounding. It doesn't matter if you're a guard or you're the forward or the center. It doesn't make a difference. So Caleb and Bobby have to get in that fight down there. It can't just be our 3, 4s, and 5s rebounding. So if Caleb gets down there and does it, he can rebound as good as any other player. You got to block out. You got to go fight the ball. You got to go find the ball. So we like it because when you have 2 guys that can play off ball screens, 2 guys that can bring the ball up the floor, 2 guys that are pretty good passers, both of them have a strong assist-to-turnover ratio, and not like Cooper. I mean, Cooper's as good as there is in the country, but Bobby's basically 3-1, Caleb's 2-1. I think that helps your offense.
You guys have the game point mentality kind of mantra going. Do you feel like your guys have embraced that, or is that still kind of a work in progress?
I think the last 2 games, there's no doubt they have. I think there's no doubt. And game point mentality, everybody thinks game point mentality on offense. It seems to be the nature of basketball. I think the last 80 minutes of basketball, I think our guys have played that way on defense, and that's where we got to get this team. We're nowhere near where we want to be, but when you look at it on defensively, first half of Wilmington, second half Wilmington, first half Maryland Eastern Shore, second half Maryland Eastern Shore, I thought defensively we've played with that mentality, but you still have to finish it with defensive rebounds. And the first half of Maryland Eastern Shore, first half of Wilmington, we didn't rebound nearly as well as we did in the second half, and that's going to be the next step. And again, it's December, it's early December, we got to keep working at it.
Pardon me if you've already answered this, but faced South Carolina last year. How different is this team from what you saw a year ago?
Yeah, it might as well not even have been South Carolina and East Carolina. It's 2 different teams, in terms of who they are, in terms of who we are. Outside of personnel that might be similar for us and similar for them, just a totally different game. And last year's game has 0 effect on this one.